Hello, yes, we're back. Youth Initiative Scotland podcast number 3. What a show we have for you today. If you're interested in hearing more about what we're doing, go to our website youthinitiativescot.com. Follow us on Twitter at YISC_2018 or on Instagram and Facebook at Youth Initiative Scotland. Today we have the honour of hearing from Curtis Harmon. Curtis is a young man working for Youth Initiatives in Northern Ireland. He's been involved in Youth Initiatives for about 8 years as a young person volunteer and subsequently working for them. He tells us about the various challenges he's faced, the various opportunities he's had and the various chances he's taken to further his life and develop himself and better himself. So I'd highly recommend taking the next half hour to just spend time listening to what he's got to say, telling us his story. It was a very enjoyable interview to do and I hope you enjoy it. All the best, God bless. So ladies and gentlemen, we have Curtis Harmon joining us today. It's a pleasure, a privilege to interview this young man. A young man who I've seen try and do a lot of things and succeed in a lot of things, and we've been through different things together. And it's a pleasure to see the man Curtis is becoming, see everything that is he's been able to do with his life. So that pleasure is yours today because we'll interview him and he'll tell us a little bit about his upbringing in life and everything that's going on. So, Curtis, before we get started, before we get into it, do you want to tell us a little bit about how things are going, what you're up to, how you're keeping busy in this time, this mad time?
Yeah. Cheers, Andy. It's great to be here. Great to have you on. Always good to follow up with people you don't get to see every day. And maybe this is one of the silver linings in this difficult time that we do get to have, do you know what I mean, these conversations with people. Trying to keep myself busy. A lot of fitness stuff. Trying to keep training, doing mad challenges. The younger brother's in the house, so roping him in, trying to do everything and anything that we can to pass the day without going crazy. Kicking a ball, the old school stuff, you know, wall out the front, kicking a ball off the wall again. Feel like you're a teenager again. It's great. But like yourself, staying busy. Do you know what I mean? Staying busy with the YI stuff, trying to adapt to the Zoom, trying to get our young guys on, trying to be as creative as we can with them. I mean, it's good. It's to be fair, it's interesting because you tweak in that part of the brain that you maybe not be so used to with the creative side of it, having to be like, okay, in the moment, what do we do? How can we get these guys engaged? What's the best way for them to enjoy it and not feel like they're in a classroom and stuff like that? So going busier than I thought it would be, to be honest. Yeah. But we have all our days that are still feel like they're a week. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, last week felt like an age. I don't know why. It just sort of just felt long. Every day was long, but it was good. Right, good stuff. You're doing some good stuff. A wee shout out if you're not following Youth Initiatives West Belfast or Youth Initiatives on Instagram, then go and follow it, and you can see your TikTok and see some of Curtis's challenges. Some impressive feats achieved already in this lockdown. So tell us a little bit, Curtis, about so let's get into like your upbringing, your background. Where did you grow up? You're obviously from Belfast. Whereabouts in Belfast did you grow up, and what's that area like?
So I grew up in West Belfast, a place called Twinbrook. It's well, to me it was my wee bubble. So I didn't really know much difference, but as you get older, you notice it is a bit of would be seen of a socially deprived area. A lot of these guys, actually, one of the statistics, I remember a guy telling me in our area, only 4% go on to higher education, in the whole area, which was a little bit crazy actually when I heard that stat. It's an area that can be quite territorial. We grew up in a wee bubble, and Twinbrook is our Twinbrook. It's our home. A lot of people who grew up as kids stay here, have their own kids here, and it has that cycle. It had that feel about it, and you had that growing up. You knew like all families knowing each other through different things like "Oh, you're Harmon? Oh, yes, I know your uncle, I know your aunt," or things like that. And it's quite a small area. Yeah, it is. But you could tell that it was like, it's our Trimberg, and we could say what we want about it, but it was ours. If that makes sense, do you know what I mean? You could say what you wanted about the area, but it was ours. But it's as times have changed. You've seen a lot of people then go outside or move out a wee bit further out, into places like Lisburn or even further again. Do you know what I mean? But it's been good. Grew up in the area. Three schools. You sort of, one side of Trimberg went to one primary school. Our side went to primary school called St Mark's that actually no longer exists. They both got amalgamated into one. Yeah. So we had St Luke's, St Mark's, and now they're both in the one school, which was interesting. So yeah, grew up in this wee area, and like I said, you had your friends who were, you could see all our front doors. If you walked out in your front garden, we just run about together playing football. The old school, like you would have run around rapping doors. There was no text, there was no WhatsApp. The most we had was MSN. But that's how you got your mates out. You rap their door. And it was like, well, you coming out yet? Mom, on I play football, and that was it. You were out from a crack of dawn kicking a ball. So yeah, and that was pretty much how we spent our days. Now we did go on into a bit more mischief, but we'll keep it simple for now and just start with football.
So you said you went to St Mark's. What was St Mark's like then? What was your high school like, and how did you get on at school? Did you like it? Did it work for you?
Is that high school, secondary school?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we went to St Mark's again. In that younger age, through P1 to P7, you're sort of just floating about. I got by. Do you know what I mean? I was quite smart at just stuff, but I could coast. I was always clever and could just get by doing what I knew was the bare minimum. And then that travelled into secondary school, but I was the first of my family to actually go down the route. So there's a one high school in our area, which is called St Columns, as you know. But that was the one high school in our area. So me and a few of my friends after primary 7, we actually went down the route to a school called LaSalle. And I loved my time there. I love LaSalle. But the problem was, first to third year was dead on, brilliant. Kept your head down, you focused on school. It was doing really, really well. And then you get popular. You get friends. You join a football team, the school football team, and then your education doesn't become the main source at school anymore. So you sort of start to dip. And I done the same thing. I coasted because I knew I could. I done my GCSEs. I done okay. I came out with 6. I got 2 A's, 3 B's, and a C. So I came out okay. Yeah. I done enough to could have went further. So I went on to do A levels, and then that's when I got interested. I have a bit of a temper. And one day I was behind on coursework. I was just getting fed up. I don't like coursework, if I'm being honest. I prefer the practical side. So I always enjoyed tests. I always done better with tests than doing coursework, because I was always like, I can put it off to the next day. I can put it off. I can put it off. And before you knew it, it was due in. So you were staying up all night trying to smash it in. So I never done well with the coursework side because I was too late excuses to put it off. When it came to tests and practical side of things, that's where I excelled. So I do my ASs, done quite well. And then one day I was handing a coursework deadline, and the head of year. So then I handed it in to him. He gave me a bit of a balligan, blah blah blah, the usual, blah blah blah. Get it out together, no problem. So I had that. Then I went down to PE, and we went in our PE level class, and I sat down, and then that teacher, he then decided to try and jump on the bandwagon doing our ball again. And I red mist, don't care about this no more, threw the chair at him, walked out, never went back. And then that was it. I decided to be like, nah, school doesn't suit me, don't like it, don't like sitting behind a desk, having to stare at blackboard all day. I prefer to be hands-on. So I started working. So yeah, and then that was my journey. That went a little quick for the teenage years, which you learn the hard, which doesn't always work out.
Cheers, thanks for sharing that. I didn't know you had a temper, did you?
Okay. No, I don't know. Some people don't get to see the side of it. You know what I mean? I don't think you've ever seen it.
I've been on a football pitch with you. I've seen it all right. So
it's all for good cause.
Aye. When it means something to you, it means something to you. Do you know what I mean? It's you're passionate. It means something to you. That's okay to an extent.
And that's it. Yes, to an extent.
What? So, at what point then? At what point in all that did you meet YI? Where did you come in contact with youth initiatives?
So I met YI roughly in the middle of that. So you can call it God, I don't know, but I was at the right place at the right time. One day going, obviously down the road. So it was actually going to LaSalle one day down the road, and a few of our friends were like, Curtis, we're going to residential the weekend. This would have been on Monday. And they were like, we're going to residential. So they said to me and Gary, which was a good friend, we were on the bus at the same time. And they were like, we're going to residential the weekend. Do you want to go? We were like, oh, sure, why not? We're not doing with no football. And we were like, yeah, no problem. Let's go. For some reason that weekend we didn't have a match, which was surprising. So we were like, no problem, whatever. And they were like, right, but you have to come up on Wednesday night. You have to come up so we can sign you up and get you going. And we were like, right, dead on. Turns out we actually had good football training, so we didn't go. So we didn't actually end up making it up. So they were like, listen, well, we got your permission slip here. We're going to scan it and then just sign it and show up. So we were like, all right, they don't give us it. So they give us it the next day on school. So we came home, went to my mum. I went, Mum, going away at the weekend here with the youth club. And she says, will you sign it? Now, take into consideration, I'd never set foot in YI at this point. Because she thought it was the other youth club that we had went to. So she was like, yeah, you know, we saying that, showed up at the Laurel Glen on the Friday, get on the bus, paid, give her permission slip, give her money. And then we went on the residential, and that's how we actually started. That's how I got there, got involved in where it was friends on a bus one day randomly saying, do you want to just come on this residential the weekend? I've been there ever since.
Yeah. Good. Cool. So you met YI randomly through friends. That's cool. What were then you ended up there. You never experienced it. Presumably it was a Lifeline residential, yeah.
Yeah.
So Lifeline is 15 to 18-year-olds program in West Belfast, and so what were some of the things that you liked about it straight away, and then what made you? Obviously, you went that weekend. What made you come back then and start attending?
Yeah, it was great when we were there. It was brilliant, but there was obviously YI is a faith-based organisation, and one of the things that they had was like a night prayers. And me and Guy were looking at each other, going, "What are we signed up for? What are we doing?" and we just looked at Kirsty. We just looked at Kirsty and was like, "Get us home!" Like people up singing, praying, and we were going, "Oh, Kirsty, you didn't tell us this." And she was all, "Like we do this, but it's like after a suit, you do whatever." And the praying went on for a good 45 minutes. An hour, and we were looking at each other like, how do we get home? How do we go home here? But then when we get put into our room, so you're like, we had a room of like, at this point we had a room of like 15 people, and it was you had all your bunks and blah blah blah, and it was lads from, so that at this point this Lifeline was all areas, so there was like East, Banbridge, and things like that, so we had all the areas at once. So you were getting to meet these guys, and we were having a laugh, you know, just in the room, being a bit rowdy, having a bit of crack, but it was seeing just me. It was the first time we had been outside of our bubble. When I talked about Twinbrook being our bubble and things like that, like other than school or the town would have been the furthest we have went. But when you got to come and meet these guys from like East Belfast and Banbridge and Downpatrick, and you were going, some of these guys are dead on. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you're going, what do you mean? You like football? I flipped the same here, but having a banter, and you got to see that. So there was something like that, meeting new people outside your wee bubble, that you thought that was your life, that you thought that was you for the rest of your life in your wee bubble with the same faces. And there was something in that we were like, actually, there's something in that grabbed us and was really, really unique. And it was like, all these guys just come together and just hang out and have a laugh. And then you had the big games and things like that. So as that went along, you sort of like, you bit the bullet and you were like, right, you know what, actually, I don't mind doing this praying bit for half an hour, I can do it. We're going to have a laugh after, we have to go back to the room and dead on. And then even some of the staff, you know, like just the relationships, it was just different. Like we'd been to a lot of youth centres growing up, just anywhere that we could play football, a youth centre was offering up, we'd have been there. And I was like, yeah, no problem. But there was something different about the staff and how they engaged with you, how they just wanted to know you, how they were just genuine. There was something really raw, and like, they just wanted to get to know you. And we were a handful, like, and they still wanted to get to know us. Do you know what I mean? I think that was something that was really unique. It didn't matter what we'd done or how, they still wanted to know who you were, regardless of how much of a handful we were. And it was something that we probably weren't, we didn't have that, well, we didn't know that in any way where else we'd been. And why I was only up the street from us, but for us, it was the Bible Bashers. And that was your common theme throughout Trimberg. And we were like, don't go there, blah, blah, blah. They don't even play football. They don't even have a PlayStation. Don't go there. And little did we know that was the stuff that we didn't want. Do you know what I mean? So they were definitely the things that stood out to me the most. It was a lot of people coming together who you'd never met, being able to get on with them, definitely opening up opportunities that you didn't expect to have, and the staff, how raw and unique and genuine they were, and just wanting to know you and wanting to sort of walk alongside you. And some staffs, you know, there's obviously because of the areas and things like that, but it was, yeah, they were definitely some of the highlights from that residential that continued on throughout the journey. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, that's cool. That's good. Right, that's cool. That's interesting. Just to pick up on something you said there, like you said that they had no PlayStations and that was the stuff that you didn't want, or something like that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Why do I have no PlayStations? Why do they run it like that? And what do you mean that that's the stuff that you don't want?
So it was really weird, because when we came from an area that was sort of seen as like socially depraved. Now, I say that lightly because me and my friends, a lot of friends we grew up with, like, we're very grateful. Like, we had great upbringings. I was spoiled. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was an only child for 10 years, so I was spoiled in that sense. But as an area as a whole, that's how we were seen. So a lot of our youth centres would have come in, like, we had pool tables, they had PlayStations, but that was it. Like, there was something that it was all plastic. Like, it really was. Like, when we went and done it, you were left to your own. We were doing it. And I remember one of the first nights when we went to YI, there was no PlayStation. And it was a coffee bar night is what it was called, which is like sit down, enjoy at each table. And you broke off into teams and you done games. And there was something like, there was none of that artificial stuff that, like, you just were left to your own device. Like, the staff and the volunteer team at that point were like, let's get up and do games. And one of the games was like nappies with Nutella in it, and you had to, like, who would eat the most Nutella out of the nappy and all, and things like that. You were like, and we were looking, going, and we loved it. And it was like, that was so much better than sitting playing the PlayStation for an hour. Like, we had that. You just had a laugh. You're sitting at the table with your closest friends, and you're just having banter back and forth. Then some of them are going up for challenges, and then you're coming back for challenges, and you're just having a laugh for your closest friends. But not only that, then the staff, you see them, they're not just sitting in a corner. They weren't sitting at a radiator going, oh yeah, who's on next, or who's this, blah, blah. Like, they were up there making agents of themselves. But there was something that we took from that was like, these are real people here. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they were just having a laugh. And it was that stuff we were like, actually, do you know what? We hold so much more value to that, sitting around a table playing games with each other, than sitting at a PlayStation console. Do you know what I mean?
It's one of the things that I think the kind of, like, young people growing up just now, because everybody's got a phone from an early age, like, there's just so much tech available, which is a really good thing, right? Because can you imagine this lockdown if we didn't have the tech, right? And it is amazing. It's a really amazing thing. But I think it makes it harder for young people because you've got so much entertainment available to you that it makes it harder when everything's taken away. Like, that actually some of that stuff can be a wee bit fake and a wee bit plastic, as you say, where they don't learn to create their own fun or something like that. And it can be harder to learn how to do that. Because actually, and when you do that, you have to do it with other people, and that has to build relationship. Because when you're looking through a phone, it's just, I don't know, there's a gap. Really. It's a really interesting thing, but with the new kind of modern world and all that. That's cool. Right. Could you give us, if you can think of it, give us maybe your top 3 YI moments, the things that really stand out. Maybe you might have more than 3, obviously, but if there's 3 moments that really stand out as something, either profound moments or really funny stories or something like
that. This one's hard. It's hard to narrow it down, like, because when you start thinking of when one highlight pops in, 10 more pop in, and then do you know what I mean? And it had that domino effect. So like, I've been in YI now coming up near just over 8 years, and like, you could feel like you've been there for 20, like with the amount of opportunities and experiences. But I suppose if I'm talking about 3 personal highlights, and just for me, I suppose I would say the main one that has to stick out would be I had an opportunity to go to the Detroit for a summer, and we worked with a youth organization called Youth Works Detroit, and that wouldn't have been possible only through youth initiatives, the bridge and the connection that they had, and that is something that changed my life for the better, and it was definitely, it's been something that I'll never forget, but it's also changed my life so much after. And that just came from a journey of deciding that, like, do you know what, actually, I talked about school and doing quite well, and one of the things that I'd said was I actually wanted to be an accountant, and maths, I'd done really well in maths. Maths was something that just came easy to me. And then my aunt is an accountant, and I decided to go and work experience to her place, and I was like, right, so when do you want to do something? She was like, what do you mean? I was like, I sat behind this desk counting money all day, changing doing figures. And she was like, yeah, that's what we do. And I was like, what? Do you not like get to go out and meet people, not get to go to businesses, talk through ideas, blah, blah, blah? And she was like, no, we sit here, we count our money, we find the best way to make more money. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I could do this for the rest of my life. I was going, I'm not sure. And it was that, like, sort of brainwave. I realized that I was like, I can't do the behind the desk stuff. I need to be on the go. I need to be flexible. And so that started that off, being like, within YI, being like, I actually like what you're doing. You're meeting new people all the time. You're being genuine. You're opening up to people. You're helping young people who don't know what they want to do with their life and put them on a path. Actually, that's really interesting. I wouldn't mind getting involved in that. So starting to look at different opportunities of how I could become a youth worker. And then it was like, right, okay, we volunteered in the summer schemes and things like that. And the opportunity for Detroit, and a guy called Tony, and I was like, well, what about this? Why don't you look at this? And I was like, what do you mean I have to go to Detroit on my own? And I was 19 at the time, and I was like, I have to go to Detroit on my own for 3 months. And he was like, yeah. And I says, with a group of guys that I don't really know. And he was like, yeah. I was like, I'm not sure how I would do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, what if I'm out there and I flip out and I crack up? Like, yeah, your brothers just will be there together. That one of them will help you through their things. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, do you know what, actually, if I need to do this. And I was going through a tricky time in my life at that point, a few decisions that I had to make. And actually, it took me to be on my own with a group of brothers that could actually call me on and challenge me in ways that people who were close to me at the time couldn't. So that's definitely my main highlight, I would say, because without why I never would have had that. And that Detroit summer definitely changed my life. Number 2, see, it's tricky. So there was 2. One was a mission trip and one was a service trip. A pilgrimage. So last 2 years I went to Medjugorje. Took 2 youth groups to Medjugorje from YI and St. Louise's and another high school in the area. And there was something unique about them, like just seeing young people challenge themselves in ways that I'd never seen before. And for example, climbing a mountain, young people who would have said, Curtis, I can't do this. There's no way I'm going to make it up there. But they're young. And being like, well, you know what? Let's do it together. Let's go at your pace. Let's not run up ahead of each other. And then to see the sense of achievement when they got to the top and being like, I never would have thought I'd have done that. Same principle, same background as myself, coming from an area where they would be in their own wee bubble. They get the opportunity to travel the world, get on a plane for the first time, climb a mountain, see sights that they would never see before. And that was amazing to see, to be a part of being a leader on that, to be a leader and see the young people doing that and journeying alongside them. That will then lead into my next highlight, which was Romania, being being there as a young person, this was an opportunity where I was on a similar trip with 2 weeks. You were there, with a group of young men, led by you and Finty.
And Trev.
And it was amazing. It was amazing. Oh, Trev. Trev hadn't us out doing the press-ups. Remember press-up competitions after our full day's work? And that was amazing. We with Habitat for Humanity, and I love that. It's these opportunities is a word that I keep saying, but it's because it's something that why I give you umpteenfold that you just don't expect. The opportunities just that you just have to be willing to take them, and you just have to be willing to go for it. Like, again, traveling the world, I love traveling, but traveling the world with a group of people that you don't necessarily know isn't always appealing. And some of my best memories in life have come out of it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, the opportunity to go and serve in a country, like, and that's why I say, like, I looked at our area and we would be highlighted as a socially deprived area. And getting the opportunity to go to Romania, we're really not socially deprived, and we're really not challenged. And I can say that hand on heart, growing up in an area where that's all you ever heard. When you got to Romania and you seen it, it was phenomenal. Like, you'll remember, like, when we went to the orphanage today and we took them out for dinner, remember? And there was this young girl, very little English, and I remember going to the shop and I bought her an ice cream, and I swear the look on her face was priceless. Like, I'll never forget it. It was like Christmas, and I was like, it's just an ice lolly, but to that wee girl, it meant everything. And they're just something that you're not going to see in your wee bubble. Like, that was just something that I was never going to experience unless I went to Romania on that mission trip. And again, why I presented me that opportunity, and I was very grateful afterwards. Changed a bit of my outlook on especially the area that I came from, if that made sense. Because growing up, you can have quite a negative look. I know I said when it's our area, it's ours, and we could have a negative outlook on it, but after that, you definitely had a different spin on your area. And I was like, actually, you know what, we need to be a wee bit more appreciative of what we actually had here.
Oh, that's brilliant, mate.
So if I had to narrow it down, they would be my 3.
Yeah. That's brilliant. Thank you. No, there's special moments. That orphanage, that's one of the highlights of anything I did in youth initiatives ever was going to that orphanage and seeing all the young people just interacting with all these children and just playing with them, and just I don't know, it's one of the happiest moments I've ever experienced. Just everybody was really happy. The kids, the young people that were there with us and us as staff. It was cool. It was like, I don't know, you're in proper, when I think of like moments where we were in the zone and we were just like doing exactly what we were made to do, is that's one of the moments I think of. Cool. So I guess with all that being said, this is maybe an easy question, but why then did you become a youth worker?
I suppose the main reason was, I explained a little bit about not wanting to be behind a desk and wanting to be more hands-on. But being honest, it was more seeing how a youth worker walked alongside me. And many youth workers, to be fair, walked alongside me in my journey from, I suppose, childhood and the adulthood. But it wasn't just through the good moments. It was through the tough times. It was through the most challenging times when 9 out of 10 people would have turned away. And to have that and to experience it was like, do you know what? Actually, I would love to do that. I would love to be able to do that for some young people. I would love to be able to give these that I had, and just be able to walk alongside them through the mess, through the shitstorms that they come up with every day. And I know you talked about it there about the technology, but it takes, young people have so many different like challenges to face that we never did with the likes of the technology and stuff like that. So it's great to be able to walk alongside young people and say, and let's just journey and just be like, right, okay, if I say I'm with you, then I'm with you. Doesn't matter if it's the good, the bad, the ugly, I'm with you. And because I had that experience with young youth workers doing that with me, it made it a lot easier to be like, actually, do you know what, I want to do this, because definitely don't do it for the money.
None of us do. Good. Cool. So just got the last few questions. What is YI meant for your life? Where are you because of YI? Where might you be without it? I guess.
Yeah. YI has always been a massive part of my life. Do you know what I mean? Like it's easy to say it saved your life or blah blah blah, but I know it's made me a better person and it's put me in a better place in life. So to argue saying that hasn't saved my life would be rude. Do you know what I mean? To be like it's not fair. It put me back into education. Having, like I said about these youth workers being on my back to go back and do a youth work degree. Things like that. I was an interesting teenager. I grew up in crowds, obviously playing football and boxing and things like that. You have your crowds of friends, and at a stage in my life, a crowd of my friends weren't great people for me. Weren't gonna push me in the right path. And I remember a guy saying to me, he said this line, and he loves this line. I don't know if you've heard it. He says, "Show me your friends, and I'll show you your future." And I remember looking at it going, and I remember hearing it, and it was like a dig in the mouth. It was like, shit. Like there was something in it that was like, and at that moment I had to take a serious look at myself, and I knew there was going to be friendships that I'd had from I was nappies that I was going to have to walk away from, and it wasn't going to be easy. And I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I knew for where I wanted to be in life or what I wanted to do with my life, I had to do that.
Yeah. And
again, that was a youth worker, and why I saying that to me, it was like, do you know what I mean? At first, you sort of take your back. What do you know about my friends? It's got to do with you. Like, do you know what I mean? You get you get your back up, you get defensive. But when you've no one looking at you and you can think about it and you can be genuine, you're like, actually, yeah, he's got a point. And me personally, I don't like to admit that people are right. So sometimes having to be like, bite the bullet and be like, okay, he's wise words. And it was up to me to take the advice, and I did. So there were some decisions that weren't going well in my life. Drinking, fighting, women, stuff like that just wasn't good for me, who I was trying to be as a man. And I had to make some decisions, and a part of that, and that was where the journey of the life came. It was around the same time that I was deciding to go to Detroit, because for me to shut off from all them people, I actually physically had to be somewhere else. Because it was too easy. It was too easy to join in with the lads saying, "Here, Curtis, we're going to go for 5-a-side, no problem," and then we're going to go out at the weekend. Do you know what? Sure, no problem. Like, it was too easy to do that, and it would have made it a lot more challenging to just say no. So physically being in a different country with different men and women and challenging in different ways, coming home from that experience, I was like, actually, I see the difference in these two lives that I want to live. And so, yeah, that was the reason that it's changed my life, and I owe a lot to YI. So I continue to do what I do as a youth work, and I love being a part of YI. And that's part of the reason that I stuck around and made me want to just be here, do you know what I mean, and continue to be involved. There's something really just unique within YI, and you can't really experience it until you're involved.
Good. Last question, mate. When are you coming to visit YI Scotland?
Well, obviously with all this going on at the minute, hopefully shortly after this is done, because a few of the guys, and I'll give them a shout out, a few of the guys that we when they come over for the residential, I'd love to go over and see them. I was looking forward to seeing them at the football tournament. That sadly would have been that weekend there. But it definitely will be over soon, and it definitely will be hoping to come over and at least join in some of the programs and see what sort of youth work, and just get to see some of you guys and show some of them the West Belfast. We'd love to get over.
I would love to have you over sometime. Curtis, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. Really, really encouraged, inspired by your answers, and what you've done with your life, how you've made difficult choices and stuck by them. So thank you very much for your time, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thank you, Andy. It's been great, mate. Good chatting, and hopefully someone can hear it who could enjoy it.
Good man. Cheers.